Welcome to the We're Not Friends podcast. Dive into the art, the hustle, and the absurdities of the dance world. I'm your co-host, Tanisha DeSalvo.
And I'm Michael Falcucci. We're here for honest conversation about the dance industry, from home studios to dance competitions to the professional paying gigs.
We're shining a light on the people shaping the industry, celebrating creative voices and the stories that often go unheard.
Whether you're a dancer, parent, creative professional, or simply curious about the industry, we're glad you're here.
So let's get into it. And to answer your question, no, we're still not friends.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Michael, would you like to tell the viewers what we just did?
Sure. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, tell them.
We just recorded
A whole episode.
and I pressed the slow-mo button on the video. So we have a slow-mo version of this
Here we
episode.
are again.
So we're going to do a take 2.
Take 2
Take
of
2.
episode 2.
Episode 2. It's perfect.
22.
You got it.
What do you want to talk about today?
Well, there's a few things. I think we just got back from nationals. And so like our season's done. So I think we should do a little recap of the season. I think we should talk about some pros and cons, some likes and dislikes of competition. And then we actually asked some of our subscribers or viewers if they had any questions.
Yeah.
So we'll get to one of their questions as well and see how that goes.
All right, let's recap.
Recap.
Let's do it.
So the season was great.
Great season.
Great season. And as a whole, it was great. I think that way more positives than negative. I think the negatives were, I just don't even remember too many of them. Some of them were just, some injuries. We had a few injuries. We also, the whole season as a whole, it's just tiring for sure. But our results were great. I think as a whole, the season was great, and I wouldn't change anything, to be honest.
It was perfection in
It
your
wasn't
eyes.
perfection, but I mean, you have to have some ups and downs. Otherwise, if it was just all great, it wouldn't feel so great if you have no.
What was a highlight of the season
Highlight
for
of the
you,
season?
either as a teacher, business owner, choreographer, whatever?
I mean, obviously the nationals, we won the Ultimate Studio, which was really a great highlight for us. But I just think when I watch all the kids and how much work they put into it, and the payoff is when you see them at comp, that's just the high for me. I get to see, all their hard work and then they really, it really comes true. We talk about at the beginning of the season, you're going to work hard now. We got to work hard, and the payout is at the end. And that's what actually happened. So that's the highlight for me, is that what our goals were, what we set out for at the beginning of the year, the kids came through, the staff came through, just all kind of came through. We did very well.
Is there anything you would go back and change or do differently?
I don't know if I'd go back and change too many things. I know that the season itself, maybe we could have, I don't know, maybe my own choreography. Maybe I'd look back at and maybe make some changes.
I feel that way too.
Yeah.
I have one number in particular. It was one of my big lines.
Right.
And I would make so many changes
So
if
many.
I could do it again. Yeah, I would.
I mean,
I
I
would.
don't know if I would do so many for myself, but
No.
no, I think there's always some things I'd like to change for
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
no, there's not that many negatives. The injuries definitely were something that we had to deal with, but we had to deal with that every year. And, but I think just because there were so many pluses and, positives, that it kind of took away from any of the negatives. There was no drama. There was no craziness at comp. There was the odd time where we had to bring the kids in and get them refocused for a minute. But as a whole, the studio was great. The kids really stepped up and performed really well. So I'm really happy.
Yeah. They work hard. That's good.
What about you?
Highlight. Just seeing the kids on stage. I think I think that's the biggest reward, is just that they have the opportunity to showcase their work and to perform. And yeah, I love watching them on stage. I get nervous though. I'm mom times 82 because I just get so nervous. I want them to do well and I want them to come off stage and feel good about themselves. And
For sure.
yeah, so that's probably the biggest high, I guess, is just watching them live out their dreams.
For sure.
Low, I don't know, or like something I wish maybe could have gone better is that I felt like it was a season of like really managing emotions with all the kids.
Right.
Yeah, just a lot of like high expectations that I see many of them put on themselves.
Right.
Just coming off stage and feeling so disappointed, and some being very disappointed in their placements, and that is disappointing to me. Like that
For sure.
they're disappointed with their placements when I don't hold that high of a weight
100%.
on the placement. But just I found it was a lot of managing emotions
Right.
this year.
There was a few more emotions too because of like graduating kids.
Yes, that was a hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not usually a crier. Like, you know
I
me,
am.
I'm kind of, yeah, you're the crier, not me.
Oh.
But at nationals this past week, it hit me in unexpected places.
For sure.
Not even when I was watching them on stage. Like I had one group and I came backstage after they finished, and it wasn't even really their best run of the season. It was good,
Right.
but like it probably could have been tighter. But I came backstage and they were standing against the photo backdrop taking a group photo, and I looked at them and I lost it.
Right.
Just like looking at them.
Is that when you jumped in for the photo too?
That's when I jumped in for, because I like to photobomb photos.
I saw that one. I saw that.
It's a fun pastime of mine. I like
For
to
sure.
photobomb. But yeah, like it just hit me. The emotions hit me in unexpected
Yeah.
places. A duet that I did this year, they came off stage and I looked at them and I was like a puddle.
For sure.
It
It happens. Yeah, and there was a lot of emotions. I do agree with some of the expectations that the kids were putting on themselves was pretty strong. Like, I'd go back and say, "Hey, great job," and they would just be like really hard on themselves.
Yes.
It happened to you a bunch of times, Marie
Yeah.
Tarry,
Yeah.
and I thought they were great runs. I just think that they have like really, really high expectations, or maybe I think they're just too hard. They're just too hard on themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think we push those types of expectations at the studio.
Yeah, I question that too. I really do. I'm like questioning, is it coming from me? Is it coming from the parents? Is it coming from themselves? Is it coming from
Right.
the expectation? All of these competitions now have title competitions, and it's, top 10, and it's a lot of things to live up to and to work towards. And I don't know, like some kids, they make a mistake on stage in one of my solos and come off and say, "Miss Tanisha, I'm sorry." And it like,
Hits you.
it hits me so hard. I'm like, why are you apologizing to me? Like, I don't care if you make a mistake. I used to improv half my solos on stage because I would forget them all.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter to me if you make a mistake, and I want you to, because you're kids, you're not a professional dancer yet.
100%.
Right? So the expectation I find that some of them are putting on themselves to be at this professional level already
Yeah,
is too extreme.
for sure.
And then it's playing on their emotions, and I'm seeing that like behind the scenes, in the wings, in the rehearsal room.
Yeah, it's affecting them.
I'm finding them like crying in the bathroom. Like that is, I don't know. I don't know.
sure.
I don't know what the fix is for that, because I'm not.
I know. I feel like we need to like talk to them about this. We did kind of mention it throughout the comp season a little bit. There was a comp where we kind of saw it a little bit more than others. But I'm also thinking about that, and I was like you were saying, like the expectations, and I don't think it's like coming from us, because I remember, and I know that we really do talk about just doing their best, because if they do their best, no matter what, you make mistakes even when you do your best. Like you're trying to do your best at least. Then we just say that like the awards and the placements and the standings will come because we think that they're so talented, and they get good choreo and all that type of stuff. So if they're doing their best, they're probably going to do well at competition. So I don't think we're pushing them on like you have to come first. Like I don't really see that at the studio.
No.
But then I
I don't do
No.
that. Like I wouldn't even stay at awards if it weren't for my own kids
For sure.
participating in the award session. I have to
Definitely.
stay because I have to drive them home.
Exactly.
You know?
But I think also we've been doing, a lot better in the last few years, that I think maybe like the expectations have gotten higher maybe on themselves, because like they've, won titles, or they've, placed in the top 10. So you feel like if you've placed in the top 10 last year, that you have to do it this year. It doesn't mean that that's always going to happen, but I feel like maybe the kids have seen kind of like the results and like some of the great awards that we have received in the past. And then they think that we either expect that, or maybe they expect it for themselves. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something that we should, chat with them about, because we don't want them to continue down that path.
No, and I just don't want them putting that much weight on a placement, or like,
Right.
for some kids, it's really their placement that there is major to them. And for some, it's really just if they felt they did a good job or not. But yeah, I just don't want them placing that much weight,
For sure.
and it's hard to tell a kid when that is their everything, right?
Definitely.
Like, we're older, we've had more life experiences, we can pan out and see a bigger perspective of life and what matters and what will
Right.
be forgotten and what will be remembered. And it's usually not the awards or the placements
Yeah.
that is remembered, but to them, that is their whole world. That's like the biggest thing for them. So sometimes I forget that's why it's so important to them. But I wish that they could step out of that a little
Right.
bit and release some of that heaviness and that pressure off of themselves.
Definitely.
Because when they're apologizing to me because they made a mistake or they are disappointed in their performance, that's where it's not okay. And I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what the answer is to that.
I don't know either, but I think, talking to them about it will be the first step, and seeing that. I do want to make sure that it also and the reason also that it doesn't affect them, because like if they do their solos on a Thursday and they have a group later on, I don't want it to affect the groups as well, right?
Yes.
Like I found that sometimes, they could get in a funk pretty quick.
Right.
And, because you find out your placement, an hour later at the awards ceremony. So
Sure.
it's definitely something we should talk to them about. And I hope that they understand that it's not like the most important thing where you place. We really do push that they just, do their best. And, from there, it's three people's opinions, and we'll see how it all plays out. But, and sometimes, it is good though. It's not a bad thing to like have high expectations or want to, strive and not make mistakes. It's just
Sure.
about how you come back from that, or how you react to it and how it affects you. That's really what we're saying, right? Like,
Right. And I think also just maybe thinking of other kids, because I find that some of the kids that really put the pressure on themselves and the ones that are apologizing for not doing their best, it's usually the really, really strong kids that are placing well,
right.
And so when those kids are crying in the bathroom because they didn't place well, or they're upset, well, the kid next to them would love to be in their shoes.
For sure.
So that is where I'm like, okay, we got to get a grip on things here, because,
Well, that was another thing what we talked about this year. It was about how we act after a routine, because like other studios have students that come up to you and say, great job. You don't want to be like, no, that was horrible to them. You want to make sure that like we have a positive attitude, and, because we're not just,
Right.
there's other people watching, and there's other people cheering you on. And so we had mentioned and talked to the kids about, how to respond after, and how to, act after you perform.
And not to say that they're not validated to have those feelings.
No.
Like, absolutely they are.
For sure.
Disappointment is part of the competition scene, but just like exactly like knowing when and where to
Yeah, of course.
have those moments. But I just found it was a lot of emotional managing,
For sure. this
you
year.
know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was high stakes this year for some reason.
Yeah, it's true. It was a national year, so maybe that was played into it. And then, like we said about the graduating kids, we had a great group graduating this year. So
Yeah.
felt like-
This one felt personal to me, like, because a lot of our graduates this year were babies with me,
right,
came to us brand new to both of us. So it's hard to let let them go
Right.
when you get them to a point where they've started with you at 4, 5, 6 years old.
For real. Yeah. No, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit more personal.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But we dealt with it,
Mm-hmm.
got through it, and we still ended on a high note.
Yeah.
I think so. It was a good year.
Mm-hmm.
The injuries did come in. We dealt with those, and
Yeah.
I feel like our kids they know that it's going to happen sometimes, and like they were all good when we had to like re-choreograph on the spot, or the next week we had to like move people around. Like, I'm actually pretty impressed on how quickly we can like, move someone out of a whole routine.
Right.
And like the kids are like, yeah. And even them now, like they're kind of experienced with it that they're like, oh, I'll just go here. Like we don't even have to do sometimes. Like,
Right. They sort of like self-fix it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't ever want to deal with injuries, but it seems to happen every year.
I mean, I don't think we had very many throughout the season. We had a couple, like
just a
pulled hamstrings, and like, your typical stuff that are just going to happen. But I found like a lot of the injuries that we had this year came while we were at comp.
Yeah.
And I really think it's kind of lends to the long hours and the physical expectations that were being asked of these kids.
Yeah.
Like the hours are really long at comp.
That's true. And that kind of like leads us into our other topic where like the pros and cons, the likes and dislikes of comp. And that's definitely one of the things that I think that needs to be addressed is like these hours, because, we're there from 7:30 in the morning. I mean, you're there earlier. Other people are there earlier doing their makeup or prep or, and then they're performing at 8, and then they're there till 10:30, and then there's awards and getting home. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's 4 days straight of nonstop.
I mean, these regionals now, like the industry's grown so much. Kids are doing like 20 numbers, 4 solos. Like there's just so much to fit in.
Right.
So the regionals are no longer 2 and 3 day events. No. They're 4 and 5 day events, right? And every single day.
Right.
First dance, 7:30.
Yeah, it's
Last
crazy.
dance, 10:30. But then I feel like sometimes it's not taken into account. Like for me, for instance, I have 2 dancers, right? I have a mini who is literally first on stage at most of our competitions.
Right.
And I have a senior who was quite often the very last dance.
You're there.
So we're there all day long.
For sure.
But in addition to that, we're getting up at 4:30 a.m. because we have to do all the hair and makeup.
Right.
We have to drive to the event. We have to find parking. We got to set up the rack and rolls with the costumes. I have to steam the costumes in the morning because they get wrinkled in the rack and roll. It's just so much prep time.
Yep.
So it's not just your 7:30 to 10:30, right? You're adding 2 to 3 hours on each end of that. And it's so much. Your bodies don't even have enough time to recover in sleep mode.
No, and like you're talking about 14, 15, 16 hours in a day.
On concrete, on steel sometimes. I mean, the stages are usually are much better. They're built up and they're sprung. But the rehearsal space and the venue, it's a lot.
For sure.
It's a lot on our bodies when we're just walking around all day.
Exactly.
Rehearsing the kids and getting them on the stage. Like I go home and my joints are toast.
Yeah, I hate walking when we were at EY back in the day. Like that would just kill over knees. Yeah. Well, that's why we got those chairs.
Yeah,
so
that helped. Yeah, the camping chairs.
That was a good idea this year.
But just that expectation of asking the kids to be doing 15 numbers a day. And they're warming up. They're dancing harder than they ever dance for 3 minutes. It's like a punch of power. Mm-hmm. And then they're getting cold because they don't dance again for 2 hours.
Right.
They don't dance again for 3 hours. And then they're warming up again. It's just this constant warm up, cool down, warm up, cool down. And they're not eating right,
not hydrating.
They're not hydrating. I mean, even I'll bring all the fruit. I will pack all the vegetables, all of the good, healthy stuff that will fuel them through the day.
Right.
They don't want it.
No.
And I don't blame them because it's just like a go, go, go. And you're
the sugar.
Yeah. Or they just don't feel like eating here. And then
For sure.
Anyways, it is a lot to ask.
For sure.
Of kids to be performing at that level at these hours.
Right.
It's a lot. And I think that's where a lot of the injuries come from.
You're right. I think so too. I know that it's hard for the competitions to like scheduling. Like scheduling is the hardest thing for them to do.
Oh, for sure. Because
and
it's so expensive for them.
Exactly. The expense of like renting another day to like make it less hours. It's a business, and even like these venues may not even be available those days, you know, and the rental companies for the stages. And like there's a lot of logistics that are, you know, we're not really taking into consideration there. I get, but it is tricky, and it's hard for those kids. It's hard for the parents. They take days off work. They're there that many hours. It's hard for the studio owners. Like it is tough. It is a grind. Comp season is definitely like, you know, tough on everyone.
It's not for the weak.
No, it's not. It's not. So it's, yeah. So I commend anyone that gets through it. It's not easy. And, but that's definitely something that, you know, if there was something that comps could change or, you know, maybe look at, you know, that would be something. I
don't know if it's the comps though. Like I can't even really put the blame on the comps. I think it's just the industry. It's become so oversaturated, and not only oversaturated with competitions trying to one up the other one because they want the business, right? Like, which is natural.
Yes.
But it's just like the amount that kids are doing, right? And the dances that they're doing, like some people like 3, 4 solos, 5 solos, you know what I mean? 20 groups, 3, 4 duets. Like it's a big load mentally for them. It's a big load physically for them. Like they're still kids and they're trying to dance at this professional level. Like, you know, even when I was dancing professionally, 5 days a week, 2 shows a night, it wasn't as much as these kids are doing, and they have children's bodies. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's a lot to ask.
For real. Yeah, no, you're true. It's true. And that is like when there's that many dances, you know, if a studio says I got, you know, 180 entries and those studios got that many entries, like, yeah, I don't even know how many entries we had this year, but like I know studios have like 200 some entries, 300 entries. That's crazy. I don't even know how they clean all that, but that's another story.
Oh, I know.
But, yeah, it is. It's a combination of a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, ideally, you know, we'd start at like 10 in the morning and then we'd leave at like 8:30. But that would be ideal.
You couldn't fit it. It would be a 10-day long regional competition.
2 weeks, exactly. But yeah, and we'd have like hour and a half dinner breaks. It'd be great. But no, we know that's not realistic. But yeah, it's just.
But like, when did it become so like? I don't know, because like for us, like we've just been in the industry for years and years and years. It's like your kids grow up, but you don't actually see them get taller, right? Like it's kind of like that sort of a thing. Like when did it become so much? Like when did it go from like you are privileged if you get 1 solo to sure you can do 5?
Yeah, that is.
Like when did it become that? Is it? I don't know.
I don't know when it became like that. I know that like when I danced, I did have a few solos.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely had a ballet solo, I remember, and then I would have a jazz and a lyrical.
I'd like to see video footage of that ballet solo.
We'll get those out to you. I have a bunch. They were some of my better ones. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were great. Ping choreographed my ballet solos.
Wow.
And we know he's amazing.
The best.
Yeah. But I yeah, you're right. Like the number of solos and number of groups and
yeah, it's excessive.
Yeah, it is.
It has.
And we always say we try to do like quality over quantity, but it's hard when, you know, these kids and parents, they would like to do more, and I would try and give.
It is hard because you want them to be included, right? Like, and I get it too as a parent. Like, if the kid's not in a number, it's like FOMO, right? They don't want to miss out. They don't want to miss out on an opportunity or
work with that choreographer.
Yeah,
sure.
I totally get that. But like, when do we just say like enough is enough?
For real, yeah.
Because also it's really expensive.
Definitely.
It's so expensive.
Well, there's other comps that like limit how many numbers you can bring, right? Isn't that like kind of how it works with like jump and some of those places? I think there's. I
think so. I think you're
only allowed a certain amount at certain comps, but like the ones that we typically go to, we said we had 400 entries. They'd take all 400, right? So
I think the ones that limit though, they do like convention, as well. So they're taking class, but even still, like that when. The floors that these kids are dancing on, like it's carpeted with concrete underneath. Like that is so hard on their bodies. So they're dancing their best to get someone's attention so that they get called out. And it's just like this, I don't know, it's a lot.
We've seen injuries at those conventions too, right? The carpet is still something that I don't get. Like, you can rent rolls of dance floor and like roll them out, and even at least at that, because like you can get your foot stuck on a carpet, like your knee. I've seen too many knee injuries.
Absolutely.
And you know, I guess I know it's another expense, and you know, I'm not trying to like say anything about conventions and stuff like that, but you know, if you went to like a soccer clinic, you wouldn't be doing it on ice. You'd be doing it on a soccer field. You know, you're not doing it on cement. You know, like you should be dancing on dance floors. Because that's where we dance.
And I mean, I love convention. I was a convention kid. I love the environment and that like high pressure.
For sure.
I love it, but it's not good on the kids' bodies.
No. Definitely.
And that's a hill that I will die on.
For sure. I know that there's so many people in these rooms sometimes, so you can't like have like a 10,000 square foot like dance floor. I get that. But I feel like there's some places where I don't even think they have any dance floor. And it's just on the carpet. And and I get it. Like you can get by, but you know, that one time, I mean, I remember it was like years ago at a convention where a girl hurt her knee. I was actually there. I had to help her up and stuff. And you feel bad because probably wouldn't have happened if she was on something that would have like held her foot back a bit, you know? So
one thing I do, I will say, like, just like some of the parents at our studio, I find that they're really good about making sure that their kids have a physiotherapist, and they are making sure that they have treatment and finding those cross-training opportunities to keep them as healthy
and strong
as they can be. So that's nice that they have that opportunity, because I didn't have that growing up.
No.
Like I didn't have a physiotherapist in my phone book, like just to call anytime.
Yeah, we have a team doctor that we can get that helps us right away. Like if someone sprains an ankle, she'll wrap it, and you know, and then she'll give them the pep talk of we're not. It's not as bad as you think, because we get a couple of those kids that are. My life's over. You know?
I would panic too.
For sure.
I mean, if you're competing and you have, you know, 3 more groups that day, but you hurt your knee and you're panicking now that you're going to let your team down, or you can't do your solo or whatever it is, you know, I would panic too. So it does help to have doc on hand to be like, hey, you're going to live. And
she's the best.
Yeah.
For sure.
A little kiss on the knee and send them back out.
We're ready to go. Get back out there.
Yeah.
So that's something that definitely is a little bit of a, you know, a dislike or a con for the timing and was at the conventions and like the proper, you know, facility for them to be dancing. But most places like at least have, you know, a place for them to practice. Change rooms are nice usually. And
usually sometimes they're very small, and that creates challenges.
For sure. And then, but the stages, I mean, I can't knock any of the stages. Every stage we've been on last like few years have been amazing. They're all built, but they're great. They're really good. They're huge, so there's lots of space. The lighting's been great.
Yeah,
like the production value of these comps are just getting better and better.
Oh yeah.
You know, this year we went to, you know, a bunch of comps. I will say like Can Dance actually was like crazy.
Notch. I mean, fog machine, gobos on the side, like the lighting, the sound. It was like
it was pretty intense. They went like full out.
Their national stage was enormous.
Right. Yeah. And that's really great. It's nice to see that, you know, it's like the clients get to see that they're reinvesting into the business and for the clients and
for sure
and for the kids and the students. And so that's really nice. But every comp's really been always like getting bigger and better and trying to make sure that, you know, the production value is really great. So the videos are amazing. The photos are amazing. How quick we get the judges stuff. You know, there's a lot of great things that have changed. You know, back in the day, we used to get cassette tapes, you know, so, and we had to like, they would be like wrapped in an elastic with a score.
Or your written score sheets and your written, the bottom section with your written comments.
Well, I mean, you're a little bit older than me, so I don't remember those so much. Is it your birthday tomorrow? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I hope you have a good birthday tomorrow. 27, right? Just make sure everyone knows that you're only 27. But yeah, no, like the production value is just like going through the roof. And And even like now we have teacher lounges or areas for
which
us
are
teachers.
always appreciated
Yes.
because we need a break. We need to step out of that rehearsal space or backstage area
100%.
for a moment because those days are long.
Yeah, some of these comps, and they're feeding us, which is great because we're, like you said, we're there for that many hours, and sometimes we don't have, like, even when they say it's a lunch break or a dinner break, if it's supposed to be an hour, it's not, because we have to be ready half an hour before we get back out there. So it's hard to like even find time to get food.
Really?
So they provide that sometimes, or coffee, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's really, really appreciated.
Yeah. And then
and some competitions like really do it up with the faculty amenities. It's really nice.
Well, the last one we were just at, we had like almost like kind of massage chairs. Like, that was nice. And like the food was great. Lots of snacks, a lot of little snacks that you could just kind of grab quickly. And
they really do it up.
Yeah, it was good. And then also like being able to like the monitors backstage to see if we want to be back there.
Yes, that helps.
The sound, even just like being able to like talk to the audio guy, and it's really great. So, but there's a lot of pluses. Like comps definitely come a long way. Then when I used to go to Niagara Falls, I remember we used to go to this competition, and it was like the stage was just like a stage on the floor with like a couple of curtains.
Yeah.
And like you could see everyone like walk like there's no backstage because it was like all just one level, So now we have big curtains covering backstage and like lots of lighting. So
they really make it like a theater experience as much as they can for the kids, which is nice.
And there's videos going off all the time. So it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. I think some of the scheduling can be improved though.
Yeah.
And I know that's not every individual competition that's doing it. There's like a universal program that most use that do the scheduling, but sometimes a little double check, like for instance, this year we had a 10-year-old who was doing her groups in the morning, 7:30 a.m. on stage, and then didn't have her solo until 6:30 p.m. that night, and then had to stick around for the 10:30 p.m. awards. Like that's a junior dancer.
Right.
Yeah,
it's hard.
That's too long. Things like that need to be looked at, just double checked.
Yeah,
because that's too much for a kid.
It's hard. It's really hard scheduling, but I think that, and if anything, that might be one of the biggest things that comps pretty much have to do, right? Like with these new systems, these online systems of entries, like they're getting all the information. It's like doing a lot of the work. Put in their birth dates, it tells you their age, what division they're in, stuff like that. It's more the scheduling, and maybe these programs are creating the schedules, and like you said, maybe they have to double check or put some more parameters in there to like
parameters. I think there's some sneaky business going on too that I've noticed. Like, when you put in your entries, you are required to say how long the piece is.
Ooh, yes.
Right?
Right.
So, and usually the typical time limit is like 3 minutes and under for most dances, unless you're doing like a production or
extended line
or something where you have a little bit more time allowed. But, when you're looking at the program and the schedule says this dance has 3 or 4 minutes allotted, and then that dance turns into a 9-minute piece, that really, like, that kind of messes up the whole schedule for everyone.
100%.
So needs to be a little, maybe like you were saying, parameters and catching some of those little sneaky things there, Yeah,
because I remember when I was doing the entries, like it to ask for length of time, and I knew like almost 95% of our dances were under 3 minutes, so I like just said 3 minutes, and then the ones that were longer we'd put it in there. And the schedule, that's pretty much the main thing that people could I think they could look at a little bit more. But and then there's the judging side of things, which is a whole other thing we could talk about. Like it's hard. Judging's hard. I don't think it's easy.
No, it's so hard.
There's the schedule again is hard for them. I mean, they're there just as long as we are, and they're watching every dance. We don't watch every dance. We're backstage.
Right.
So it's hard on them. And then it's hard because it's hard on them, and then it affects, I think, their scoring too sometimes, because when I've judged personally, again, this is a little bit not a long time ago, but a few years ago. Yeah, those late nights when you're tired, like it can affect sometimes like what you're saying sometimes, as well as like maybe like
Sure.
not really maybe so much the scores, but
Yeah, I would say, I mean, for me, I can't speak for every judge.
Yeah,
like
for
for me, I have my kind of like set personal rubric that I use, and I know what I'm looking for. And then I sort of set that median throughout the weekend or the event, right? So I'm like kind of going off of that. So I wouldn't say like when I'm tired, it affects my scoring because like,
it maybe not affects my
yeah,
scoring, but like
but definitely your commentary, your
for sure.
vocabulary,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also too, like, when you're judging an event and
Right.
you're seeing, let's say, 5 studios over and over and over again, you get to know them throughout your time, right? And even though you don't always know which studio is stepping on stage,
Right.
you sort of get to know, okay, well, this studio, I'm seeing A, B, and C happen with them. So I'm giving them those critiques. With this one, I'm seeing this happen. So you kind of get to know them. And then that gets repetitive. You're looking for new things to say so you don't sound like a broken record on all of their tapes. But really, it's like, every studio has their thing.
Yeah.
Their style or their technique. And that's kind of what you're critiquing on, so it does get repetitive, but I don't think it affects the scoring so much.
Yeah, you're probably right. It doesn't really affect the score, but I mean, when you've watched like 30 contempt solos or something, and you said like you're trying to give some critiques, sometimes though what it will affect is like maybe you're in a little bit of a low energy moment, and then a number that like pops, you might actually like elevate your score because it's like something new or something. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of
maybe. I mean, I think a good judge really keeps track of that. And like you were saying, there's not a lot of time that everything's go, go, go. You have like maybe 30 seconds between
to make up
dances,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
But a good judge keeps track of that.
Right.
And is not just like sliding a scale or like throwing out any decimal and just moving on to the next dance. Like a good judge is really like taking into account, okay, so for my intermediate level, if it's like, let's say 12 to 15 or whatever it is, you have to look back. Okay, my 12-year-olds were sitting in this range. My 13-year-olds are in this range.
Right.
These were my top 3 out of this category. So that's where those scores are sitting.
Right.
So when you're thinking about overalls, okay, a 12-year-old is maybe different than a 14-year-old, but you have to kind of like, you got to go back and like, you have to look, and you have literally 20 seconds to do it sometimes.
Yeah,
so it's just so much to do. You're doing the best you can, but I think that's why it works so well to have like 3 or 4 different adjudicators on the panel, because they all have their different set of things that they're looking for, or scoring, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an accumulative
score.
So it's not just like on you alone.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard. Judging is very hard. And like good judges, like you said, that do that look at like scores from other, like categories or other age groups, those are the better judges. And I don't know if that's happening all the time.
No, I can guarantee it's not.
And I don't think, and I don't know, who the onus is on for that. Like if the competition owners need to be having a little bit more discussion with the judges about that type of stuff, or if just like judges in general need to be like maybe like informed on that type of stuff too, because when I started judging, I just was asked to judge one time and I'd never done it before. So I didn't know how to do that, and I was like learning from experience and other people's, helping me with that.
For sure.
But that's definitely something that I think the industry needs to like look at, because there are judges that I'm sure are going to be great judges. Maybe they're not amazing right away because maybe they just don't know, those types of things.
Yeah.
And because it can affect placements, like overall specifically, because like on a Thursday you saw a teen solo, and then on Saturday if you see another teen solo, you forget what you'd scored there, but realistically that one was better,
Right.
Yeah.
So like when I'm adjudicating, like I have Post-it notes all over the place, or I have like little notes, or I highlight in different colors, like, things to pop out so that I can go back through my book and say, okay, like this is where I stood here, and now I need to make sure that I'm meeting in the middle, or like at least staying in the same zone. So I'm not like 98s today,
for sure,
92s tomorrow. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But there are judges that do that, you know?
Yeah.
And
I've
and it
seen
is a learning curve. Like I know when I first started judging, I wasn't always thinking about that, and I've learned, you know, to go back and really, okay, it's a little bit more than just
For
score next, score next. It's more than that.
Definitely.
You know, another thing too, I found, this is one thing that I want to talk about. So a judge said to me one time, you know, if I'm giving a 0.75, I'm bumping up that score. Like I'm not going to be giving 0.8s, 0.9s, things like that. He's like, I'm going to bump it up.
Right.
And it stuck with me. And I know I'm guilty of this when I first started judging too. I would give 0.9, you know, thinking that I needed to give that. But the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, that is really unkind to give somebody. And I will say this because one of my kids got this.
Right.
A 94.99.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like from one judge. So that wasn't even an accumulative, like from all the three together. Right. That was one judge that said, you know, I'm going to give a 94.99 because you're just not good enough to get that 95. That is so unkind.
For sure.
That's kind of being sticky.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
And so I don't really enjoy that.
No, and that's not fun at all.
No.
The kids seeing that. Definitely.
And I also don't think that even if you have if you have a category of 5 kids or you have a category of 20 kids, let's say solos, right? You can still rank those 20 solos without getting yourself up into the 9.9s.
Right. 100%.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like, it's so unkind.
Yeah, because you can give someone like a 95.2 and then another one a 95.
Sure. And they're still sitting in that 95 zone. It doesn't, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And a good judge will go back through their books and say like, okay, I gave this a 95.22. This one was a 95.44. So like you're still, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to really be on top of it. Yeah. But I think it's important, like if you're going to call yourself an adjudicator and you're going to put that weight in your hands, that's really important for a lot of kids. Like they work really hard. So let's do it upright.
We need to get an adjudicator in here, not just us, like ask some, you know, opinions of what they see. Like we had different judges pretty much all year. And some of the judges I don't personally know, some of them I do personally know. And I think that it's a hard job, so I'm never going to like criticize, you know, too much. I can, you know, definitely question someone's opinion. That's fine. Like it's their opinion, but I know it's a hard job and I don't want them to feel like we're on them right now, but it's more the fact that like, you know, the amount of money that these people are paying and the integrity of the competition is riding on like their decisions. And I just hope that they're putting in as much effort as these kids and these parents and all these people that are putting into creating these competitions, and they're not just there to just watch a show and, you know, put down a couple marks on a slider, you know? So I think that, you know, they get paid. I'm not sure how much they get paid anymore, but you know, there's has to be some work there. You know, there has to be some importance put into, you know, your work there. And it's also not just your score and what you're saying as well, because we've got lots of tapes that were just like, that was amazing. Great. I love that. And then they get like a 94. It's like, where's the critique? What can we do better? You know?
Or just being really careful about your verbiage, right? Like, please don't tell kids that they're perfect.
Right.
Like using that literal word perfection and then not even bumping them up to the highest score zone. Like it doesn't correlate together. So you have to, there's just so much. And I'm not a perfect judge and I don't always get it right either, you know, and I'm still learning. I still learn. Like I adjudicated with some amazing judges this year that really opened my eyes to a few things. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's so good. I'm going to, or like one event this year, one of the judges and we would always listen to the other one give specials, and we'd be like puppy dog eyes, just listening to everything she has to say because she was so amazing. And I try to take that back. I'll never be that good, but I aspire to be.
I'm sure you will.
As good as Kelly Shaw.
There you go.
She's so good.
Kelly Shaw. Big shout out.
Yeah.
There was, I think the judging as a whole though was great this year for us. And I still think that like judging is, 9 out of 10 times usually pretty like bang on. I just still think there's like a couple little things that, they can continue to look at. And like, as long as they're continuing to grow and get better too, just like choreographers are and dancers are. And as the competitions, they're continuing to try to get better as well, then there shouldn't be any issue. I mean, there's a whole discussion about kind of how the judging could be like it's an art. So it's someone's opinion.
Totally. So hard.
There's no like actual criteria sometimes of what a style is or what needs to be in a 10-year-old's jazz solo.
Yes.
And that's a whole other discussion about like categories and, like rules pretty much or things in there. So that could be another discussion.
I think so.
That needs to be had in the industry because, we saw a lot of mixed up like non-jazz numbers in jazz categories. And so then as a judge, are you judging it as a jazz number or are you judging it as a piece?
Yes.
And then you're like, but it's in a jazz category. So then.
And we have seen both as competitors this year, whereas one competition, the judges were very, very complimentary of our work, saying how we stayed true to the genres and they really appreciated that.
Yes.
And I felt that they rewarded us for that. But then we've also seen other competitions where it didn't go that way for us. And we're like, well, what do you mean that one?
Exactly.
That one won. That was a contemporary number in a jazz category.
100%.
Like, so yeah, there's that definite like gray area. Maybe competitions need to be adding a contemporary jazz category or like, what do they call it? Fusion or like, I don't know, but this whole like contemporary being allowed to be in anything is tough.
Well, like anything, like even back in the day when even the open category was like added, right? That was new to like dance competitions because then you could do acro tricks with other stuff, right? Because like there was rules that you can only do 3 acrobatic tricks in a jazz solo, but then someone wanted to do, so they put it in either acro or an open.
And now it's just your overflow contemporary category. But that's not true. I will say when I was judging out on the East Coast, the open category was wildly different than it is out here.
Really?
Yes. So there we would see in the open category, we would see like Irish dancing, Celtic dancing. We'd also see a little bit of clogging.
Right.
You would also we saw like voguing.
That's cool.
Yeah, which was kind of fun, like combat boots and like all like, it was like, that's what the open category was. It was literally what there was not a category for.
Right.
So it was not just your overflow.
Of contempt.
Yeah.
Right.
This is my 4th solo and I've already expanded the lyrical and the contemporary and the jazz, and they're all contemporary.
Exactly.
So now I'm going to put my 4th one in the open category, and
that's the thing, like when you actually, because I did this year, I looked on the websites of these competitions to see when they talk about different categories and rules and regulations. They're so like open, meaning like they talk about a jazz style movement, but like there's no definition. There's no like hard line or like things that can kind of distinguish what jazz and contemporary is on their rules and on their website.
Yeah.
But there might need to be some of that. There might need to be a little bit more of that.
But who's even got the authority? Because like even within jazz, what people would argue is real jazz? Like
no, I get it.
Even within real jazz, there's like this style jazz and there's this style jazz, and but they're all still jazz.
Right.
I think where it gets tricky is people are starting to put contemporary in.
Yes.
But like, who's the authority on that? Like,
I know, and that's the thing.
Who's that going to be? Who wants that job?
Yeah, it's not an easy conversation, and it's nothing like there's no right way or wrong way. But I did find that there was a little bit too much of that going on.
Yes,
and
agreed.
That maybe there needs to be, like back in the day when they added open, something like a fusion category. Because I talked to Shauna from TKO about this situation, and we had just a good discussion about it, and I said and she actually is the one that kind of said the word fusion. I was like, that's actually perfect. I think that would be kind of cool, like a fusion category, and then maybe some of those contempt pieces or contempt-y jazz pieces would go in there
Mm-hmm.
and compete against other ones, because people are trying to do that. And it is cool to have, like, we had a jazz number this year that wasn't like your typical jazz number, you know, and I loved it. And it could have been in a fusion and competed against other routines that are, you know, in that same, like, you know, thing. Like, it's a fusion of different styles. So I think that would be kind of cool. I think maybe some of the competitions can look into that. And
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah.
That'll ever happen.
Some of like kind of like diving a little bit deeper into that too, like not just the categories, but time limits
Right.
that we're taking advantage of a little bit this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like I don't want to make anybody mad, and I would still like to work in this industry, but I do have an opinion about the 9-minute pieces.
Well, there were like 12-minute pieces. We had
Some 12-minute pieces in a children's dance competition. Like, they're sick pieces. Like, if I were watching a show, I'd be really into it. But like, there are rules. Like, it's a 3-minute piece, and if you want to pay extra, fine. And if you want to tell your dance bug
right.
entry that it's a 12-minute piece, fine. But I don't know.
Well,
is it that necessary
I
in a
agree with
competition? I don't know. I think that's really more of like, I don't know. I think that is sometimes choreographers taking advantage of competitive dancers to showcase their work when that is not what it's about.
right. Ooh.
And I could get in some real hot water for that, and I'll sit on that hill.
I will say that, like, first of all, for someone to dance 12 minutes and to dance hard, like full out for 12 minutes, I think is almost impossible. I'll be honest. I don't know if someone could like dance nonstop for like 12 minutes.
But I don't think a lot of these 12-minute
what I'm
pieces are dancing that hard. Like, I'm watching a 2-minute section where there are dancers literally just walking in a clump and looking at a center dancer
100%.
doing something.
Yeah. And that's what I was getting at.
Do we need that?
No.
I mean, for the piece and the storyline, yes, I'm so invested and I'm so into it. And I love to go see dance company work like that.
Right.
But is that, I don't know, that's a tough one, because yes, we are preparing these dancers to go into company work, and that is necessary. But like, I don't know, does it have to be that long on the competition stage?
For sure.
Why are we doing that?
Well, yeah, no, you're right. Like I said, like I was saying, like, it's just not, like, they're not dancing for 12 minutes. I saw multiple pieces this year that, like, there's 10 people lifting one person across the stage for like 2.5 minutes of it. I saw a piece that was 12 minutes long that didn't have, you know, 10 counts of choreographed movement together. It was, or 8 counts, I mean.
And not
like,
saying it's a bad piece, like really brilliant work, like really truly brilliant work, but like not for the competitive stage, in my humble opinion.
For real, yeah, I agree. And I get it. And maybe there's another category for that if people want to continue with that, but then it's not.
Or like, maybe there needs to be a separate competition where maybe the choreographers that like to showcase that kind of work, and there's a place for it. It's amazing.
Right.
But maybe that is in that competition alone. So like, go ahead, put your 12-minute piece in, and every piece is 12 minute, and that's the expectation.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, I agree. I don't know, you know, like, we don't, I like the pieces. They were cool. There were some really great stories in there. I just think that it doesn't really match up with competitive dance. Like, it just maybe shouldn't be, you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to box myself in either by saying it doesn't match up with competitive dance, because I think competitive dance is ever evolving, and it has to be, like, or we just wouldn't grow. The industry would die, like dance would die. But you're right. Like, maybe it just needs to be like, maybe we need to find a separate competition or entity to like showcase that kind of.
Or maybe a limit of how many you can do. Like, if a studio is doing like 10 of those, that's hours of the day.
Yeah.
You know, just at one studio. Like, if someone's doing 12-minute pieces and they have like 5 of them, you know, that could be like 25 Zolos instead of.
Well, that's just it. And then like, you look in the programs and it has the times, right? Like, this dance is at 2:32 and this one is 3 minutes later. And it's like such a set schedule. It has to be to get people in and out. And
we talked about how we're there at 7 to 8:30. If we continue to add all these 12-minute pieces, we're going to be there till midnight.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's not for comp dancing. I just think that it also seems to be like a little bit of a new trend that I don't know if I can get on board with right away, but maybe I'll start to like it more. I'm not sure. I like the pieces and stuff.
I think it just needs a different avenue, a different platform.
Sure.
Like someone needs to create a convention or a competition where that is what is competing.
Sure. That's a good thought.
Where it's like maybe that is we're preparing these dancers for company work later on, and I do think that's important, and it's great for the dancers to have that opportunity.
I hear that comment a lot, like company work, and I've seen a few dance companies. I don't like always see it. I haven't seen a ton, but like, is every company do like 12-minute pieces or 20-minute dances? Do they have like 3-minute pieces sometimes? Or I'm not sure. Like, it's like they're always, I hear that comment like, oh, it's, it's like a company piece. And it's like competitive dancers, they came from like competition dancing are company dancers. And, I knew people that never did 12-minute pieces and they're in companies. So it's not like you have to be able to do a 12-minute piece to be in a dance company. You know? So,
but that's what I'm saying. I don't, is that really benefiting the dancer to be walking on stage or lifting somebody for 40 seconds?
Yeah.
Like, do we need to be,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is that necessary?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know what the answer is, but
I don't either.
It is something to be maybe talked about because it's definitely becoming more. I've seen them more at competition now, so I wonder if they'll continue or if maybe they'll stop. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I can't even come up with 12 minutes of choreography, so I won't have that issue myself. But yeah, that's some of the things that we liked and disliked at comps this year. Okay, well, let's go to one of the questions that we got, and that would be a memorable moment in your professional career.
I have one. Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay.
You go first.
When I was a young adult, I was probably 19. I worked for EFX in Las Vegas with Tommy Tune. And every year the cast members would put on a talent show. It was held at Studio 54 and we made like a big night of it. And everybody put a lot of work into it, like weeks of rehearsals, casting, costumes. It was a big deal. And I did like a dance number, like a jazz type number for, I don't remember how many girls, like maybe like 8 to 10.
Right.
And I loved it. It was to that song, History Repeating. You know that song?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I remember at the talent show, Tommy Tune came up to me afterwards, which was like, first of all, a big deal for Tommy to even like approach anybody. He was lovely, like the nicest, like wonderful. But that was a big deal for Tommy Tune to walk up to a 19-year-old kid who thought, oh, I'm just going to put a number in the talent show. And he said to me, that was amazing. You are a choreographer. Wow. And I remember those words, like I'll never forget. You are a choreographer.
Wow.
And it just meant so much to me. And then actually we were getting ready for cast changeover. So Tommy's contract was coming to an end and Rick Springfield was taking over. So they brought in Jerry Mitchell, who brought like big Broadway choreographer, Hairspray, Betty Boop, that's in New York right now. Yeah. So they brought in Jerry Mitchell and Tommy said to me, Tanisha, I want you to show this piece to Jerry.
Wow.
Can you get your dancers together, bring them downstairs to this studio? We had like a basement studio where we did our warm-ups.
Right.
He said, bring them downstairs and I want you to show this to Jerry.
Nice.
And I don't even think I realized how big of a deal that was then. I was 19, like first job, fresh out of high school, right?
Right.
And I brought them down and Jerry, same thing. He was like, that was fantastic. You are a choreographer too.
Wow.
Like, what a moment.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing ever came out of that. Like,
Well, you are a choreographer, so.
but and I ended up leaving the show as well, so I didn't end up getting to work with Jerry Mitchell.
Oh.
And sometimes I wonder, like, ooh, is that a mistake? Should I have stayed? Should I have
Pretty big
renewed
name.
my contract? And maybe
Who knows?
I could have like kept that contact with Jerry. But anyways, I didn't. But it's still a keepsake that I keep with
sure.
me forever and ever, and I'll never forget those words.
100%. Someone like that.
Tommy Toon and Jerry Mitchell.
That's
That's
amazing.
big.
That's huge.
Yeah.
But you are a great choreographer. So
Thank
they
you.
just saw it early. That's all.
I don't know.
No, they did. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
that's
amazing.
probably one of the most
Memorable.
memorable moments that I will keep with me forever.
I have a lot of memories of my past dance career. One of them that stands out the most is near the beginning, and it's not like a dance thing. It's more just a moment that happened at the Stratford Festival. And so I was brand new. I was just 19. My first big kind of contract. I had just come off of doing an opera. But either way, it was my first real big gig. And we did rehearsals. And Richard Manette, who's the artistic director of the whole festival, was also the director of my show, which is called Gigi. Another reason why we named my daughter Gigi.
It's a good
Fun
name.
show. Yeah, great show and great name. And so I was hired as like a dancer, but like I was in this scene, and I remember Richard Manette had like a really deep kind of voice too. And we're on the stage and we're planning out some of the set, and he goes, "Michael, can you strike the bench after the scene?" And then he like walked away, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. And but I had no idea what striking the bench meant. So scene happens, and like he's like, "All right, end the scene, lights go out," and I walk over to the bench and I kick it. I kick it really hard. And then like everyone starts laughing. He's like, "Stop, stop, stop." And he's like, lights up, and comes up on stage. And I'm like, what am I? Like, I knew I did something wrong. And he's like, "Mike, what happened there?" And I said, "Well, Richard, I actually don't know what striking means." And I just decided to kick it. And he started laughing, and like the whole cast is there, and stage manager can't believe I did that. And so she's like, "No, striking means take it off stage." And I was like, okay, which
Noted.
looking back now makes more sense. So I took the bench off stage, and then fast forward like a couple weeks, the whole company's there, like every show, every actor. And Richard has a big party for us, and we're actually at our theater, and we're sitting in the theater, and he's doing a little speech, and he calls me up on stage, and he's like, "Michael," because he's talking about mentors, because the Stratford Festival had this thing where if you were an apprentice, it'd give you a mentor, and he's like, "Michael, I'd like to tell the whole company about what happened a couple weeks ago." And I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, sure." And then he's like, "Can you tell them what happened when I asked you to strike the bench?" And I said, "Sure." And I said, "I kicked the bench." And then people started laughing. Yeah. And so, it kind of just got into his whole like story, like if people were laughing and about how people needed mentors, and like how like actors, like the older actors should try and mentor the younger ones. I technically didn't have a mentor because I was a full equity member. You have to actually have like an apprentice contract. So Richard, though, then like declared at that meeting that I was going to get a mentor. And it was David Hogan, one of my good friends and really good mentor. And so I got a mentor, even though I wasn't supposed to get one, because I didn't know how to strike anything off stage. And then I became the guy that kicked the bench all year. And
This story never gets old. I love
never.
every time
Yeah,
you
I
tell
know.
it.
It's true. It
Love it.
really happened. It made me famous at Stratford, in the wrong way. But and then like the rest of the party, people would come up to me. They thought it was fake, but it really happened. There's probably a video of it somewhere. So
Oh, I would love.
I would love to see it too.
The footage of that.
Yeah, I had no idea. I never went
Kicking
to
the bench.
yeah, it was. I kicked it hard too. I was in like my waiter outfit. It was bad, but yeah, that's very memorable to me.
Funny.
It was like a moment too, because I got to meet a lot of people after. They would come up to me and be like, "Did that really happen?" And I was like, "Yep, that's true."
Sure did.
And Richard Manette, who was a great director, great artistic director, it actually made him like closer to me for some reason. Like we had this like story, so I got to like really, like, he kind of like would talk to me a lot more than any other kind of chorus dancer that he didn't really need to deal with. So it was kind of cool.
There
Kept
you
me
go.
on there for a couple more years. But yeah, so that was that's my memorable
Oh, that's
story.
a good one.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
funny.
I think we can end on that note.
Sounds great.
Me hitting a bench. And but yeah, so next episode we're gonna get an interview. We're
Yeah.
gonna do an interview, maybe a judge, maybe studio owner, competitive competition owner, who knows. We're gonna get an interview, and I will not press slow-mo on the video again. Okay, thanks.
That's it.
That's it for this episode of the We're Not Friends podcast.
Thanks for spending time with us.
Make sure to follow the show and leave us a review. Share it and tag us.
We'll catch you next time with another episode full of stories, honesty, and laughs. And no,
We're still not friends.